Welcome. In this video, I'm going to show you how to export and import vocabulary lists in the Greek New Testament Study app. If you've watched the videos on Backup and Synchronize, then you know that you can sync your vocabulary lists among your own devices. But what if you want to share a vocabulary list with someone else who uses the program, or you see someone else has a really great vocabulary list and you want that without having to create it yourself? Well, the program now allows you to do this. So you'll notice I've got the program up on two different devices here. I've got my Windows desktop running on the left and then an Android emulator running a Pixel 6 here on the right. And so if you've watched the video on creating vocabulary lists, then you know I created a new vocabulary list on all the words in 1 Peter, which appear less than 10 times anywhere in the Greek New Testament. So let's say I want to share that vocabulary list and I want to allow other people to use it. Well, it's pretty simple. You click on the edit button here in our vocabulary page. So you see vocabulary is lit up in blue down here. Click the edit button to put it in edit mode, which is pretty much what you have to do anytime you don't want to go into the list. And then I'm going to click on this little red half circle next to the list I'm interested in. And notice the very first item that pops up here on our options on the right is this green button share. And I'm just going to click that. And the program tells me it's uploaded the list to the server. So this list is now saved on the same server that the program uses for backup and synchronization. And notice it's now taken you to the shared vocabulary list page. Do you notice over here, look at our other one running on Android, you've got this grayed out cloud with an up arrow icon. Well, now, if we go back to our vocabulary page, notice our little cloud icon is blue, which means you can click on it. If it's blue, this means you've shared a list. If it's gray, it means you haven't. So I click on it, and here we are. And you notice it tells me the name of the list when I shared it, and also it has a list ID. Every vocabulary list will begin with L. You can also do this exact same thing on the group pages if you want to just share one group of a list. And every group ID will begin with a G. So notice now, we've shared a list. It's on the server, and its list ID is L51109. You can give that number to anybody else running this program, and it doesn't matter what version they're running in terms of what operating system. And they can download that list. So let's do that. Let's go over here to our Android phone. We click the edit mode. We click the plus button to make a new list. Again, if you've watched the video on creating vocabulary lists, normally we'd say create a new list. But in this case, we're going to import a shared list. We click that and it says, okay, what's the number? It knows they all start with L. Now we type in the number 51109. Click the import button, and it goes out to the server, finds the list with that number, and pulls it up, and there it is. Now, you've got the list I created for 1 Peter. Now, all you have is the list. If I've been studying the list, you don't have any of my progress. If I've made notes on particular words in the list, this hasn't changed anything else about your database on your device. But you have the list with all the words in it. And now you can go and study it if you want. Notice this icon here, the cloud icon, it hasn't changed. That's only if you exported a list. You didn't export this list, you imported this list. But here, on where I created the list and imported it for this account, yep, sure enough, it says I've exported a list. And if you exported a list, you can delete a list. So same thing, go to the edit button when you're here in the shared vocabulary list, click the red half circle, and you get one option, delete. I click delete, it says, are you sure? Once it's gone, it's gone. And I say, yep. And sure enough, it's deleted. So you can see it's gone from shared vocabulary. If I go back into my vocabulary page, now this icon is grayed out because I haven't shared anything. But notice, it doesn't delete the list itself. It didn't delete the list from on my machine. And it didn't delete the list from on my friend's machine. Anybody who's imported your list has got a copy of your list to use. But you can delete it and it cannot be imported again. Now, if you would like to try this out without having to export a list and change account or anything like that, I've created a vocabulary list of second aorist verbs. All the verbs that have second aorist forms in the Greek New Testament where the verb appears at least 10 times. Not necessarily the second aorist appears that many times, but the verb appears that many times. That list is list ID number 11111. So that should be pretty easy to remember. So let's try it. Let's go into Edit, click the plus button, import a shared list, and we'll give it 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now, obviously, if you click cancel, nothing's going to happen. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and we'll click import. And it's going to go out, and it's going to find that list. And look, there it is. Now, you've got this list I've created of second aorist verbs. So here's the 26 verbs in the New Testament that appear more than 50 times that have second aorist forms. Here's the 53 verbs in the New Testament that appear between 10 and 50 times that have second aorist forms. And you can use this to study just like you would want to any other vocabulary list. And of course, you could delete this list off your machine, but that doesn't delete it off the server. It's still available. Anyone else can still come in here and import it and say, oh, yep, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Import, sure enough, and it's back. And again, since I created this list, only I could delete it. Only the person who shared a list can delete the list. And you might be wondering what happens if, you just start guessing and you choose, all lists are 5 digits after an L. So we'll put in a number and it'll go in and it'll say, yeah, no, sorry, that list doesn't exist. So this is an easy way for you to share lists. If you've got other friends that use the program, or if you see someone in a class that's created a list, or your teacher's created a list, you can upload any list and download any list. And again, if you decide later you want to delete it, then you're welcome to delete it. But I hope this helps you share the work you've done and then also benefit from the work that others have done.